Welcome to the WinEH podcast. This show is focused on empowering ranchers. Whether you're a seasoned rancher or just getting started, we'll guide you on how to use the infinite banking concept as an alternative way to finance your operations. It's a better way to think about money. Join us as we discuss planning for the future, attracting the next generation, and the art of keeping more money within the family. Here's your hosts, Winnie and Lacey.
Welcome.
All right, so we're really super glad that you're choosing to lean in with us today as we are in a completely different location than usual, and we're actually able to...
I know, right? We're together.
Yes, yeah, and we're actually at the Soil and Health Grazing Conference here in Edmonton, 2024.
Yeah, so we were at this event 2 years ago. It's a biannual event, and this just is an event like none other that we go to. It's been an incredible 3 days here.
Yeah, I mean, just where we're situated, although we're not able to be right in the room where we can listen to every single speaker, but I really like all the feedback that everyone is talking about when they're coming out of the room, of just what they're gaining here about regenerative agriculture.
Yeah, it's really what I have noticed and talking with people and talking with the organizers, it's really a community of people coming together who are wanting to improve their systems or maybe get ideas from other producers, people who are open to thinking outside of the box, maybe doing something that's not quite mainstream, younger people that are coming into the family operation with maybe just some new ideas, because technology is advancing and there's so many different ways that the agriculture industry is changing and advancing. So that's what I'm finding. Like the theme is, one, there's a community of people who, and they've actually stated it's like a reunion. Mm-hmm. So they look forward to this event every 2 years because they're getting together with the people that they know and love, and also gaining like, hey, what can we change, or how can we change it, and how can it improve our operation?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're out here, just from a completely different angle of what it is that we offer. Like, how can you change or improve your operations by changing the system that you use for financing your operations, right? Mm-hmm. But more importantly, today, we're actually wanting to talk about, attracting that next generation. And,
Yeah. So as we see these younger people who are coming into, that we're talking to here, one thing that we've shared with a lot of people here is like, our mission here at Rancher Way and what we do together is our mission is to heal that financial divide, but also to attract that next generation. Because when we're talking about the family farm or the ranch, it's probably been in the family for a number of years, and like, how can we keep it in the family? How can we make it so attractive that those younger generations and those kids in the family are wanting to come back?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, attracting that next generation, there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, there's a variety of different reasons why, what draws us to this lifestyle. I mean, you more than anyone else, even more than me, understand what draws people to the lifestyle, right? I mean, it's the open land, it's the fresh air, it's the solitude, it's being with your animals that you love, and then it's also, everyone here is it's about how can you improve being like a better land steward as well. But more than anything, what we're here to talk about is how can you attract the next generation with money?
Exactly.
Especially if you've grown up watching your grandparents or your parents struggle, that could cause some PTSD a little bit.
Yes. Finances and the flow of money are a big hurdle to jump whenever we start talking about the next generation coming in. And so how can we make that easier for them, especially when we live in a world where if you have a trade or, you go to school, or even the building of online businesses, make it so much more simple to earn money. Mm-hmm. And so we are finding that there's so many more farm kids, ranch kids that are choosing to go that route instead of come back to the operation because, I mean, let's just face it, it's a 7-day-a-week job. There's no time off unless you have somebody to step in for you while you're gone. And so what can we do financially? How can we coach, guide, and help families to set themselves up financially to where that next generation doesn't see it as a struggle, but sees it as an amazing opportunity to step into without that temptation to go somewhere else?
Well, it begins with us. It really begins with us in the way that we think. I would say that it is very commonplace in the way that we approach our finances. I can't speak for everyone. All I can say is in many of my conversations, especially in the agricultural world, typically it's out of reacting. Reacting to, oh, there's this piece of land. It happens to be really close by. I don't think it's ever going to come up. There's some bad case of FOMO potentially that goes on, but at the same time, it's reacting. There's an opportunity. Let's go to the bank. If you get that financing, it starts that cycle of lending money from the bank. And then it's very commonplace. It's commonplace to get a loan for any of your supplies. It's commonplace to get a loan for your operating expenses. And so getting to a place, especially when you're learning along with us, you'll come to find that it first starts by you deciding to approach your finances from a much more proactive standpoint. And it means there's got to be some time, allowing yourself some time to think about how can we do our finances much more sustainably, over the course of generations, not just like over the next 5 years or the next 10 years. How can we use money to bring the family closer together? And the really great thing about, I think, working with us too, is that it simultaneously also helps any operation to start working on advanced estate planning, even if you may not want to talk about it, because it starts to really, like, we naturally always get into conversations. Well, it's like, oh, well, we got to take over. We're thinking about how we're going to be able to take over our family's operation.
Yeah, and I think it just comes back to healing that divide. So having that money conversation be a healing process or something that's looked forward to, not the divide of it. And because when you get to that point where it's like, okay, from a reactive standpoint, Johnny wants to come in and take over now. He's finished school, and he's going to come back to the farm. Or she is, whatever it may be. What do we do now with mom and dad? Or how are mom and dad still going to earn an income? Because maybe they're only in their 60s. That's young. There's still so much life to live at that age. And so how can we be proactive in planning and set that family up for, well, we know exactly what mom and dad are going to do, because we've been proactive and we've planned and we've been focused. And then kids are going to come in and be able to take over with ease because we know how we're going to do this. And so having that money bring the family together where it works for everyone, rather than it being a conversation that gets put off and put off and put off because of the divide that it potentially will cause, or just the fear of like not knowing what or how we're going to do it.
To add to what you're saying, again, coming back down to like a decision about, we want things to change. We want to adapt a system, like a way to again, the current system is we don't have enough in savings. It's time to go to the bank, right? There is no doubt that when you start with yourself and you decide that things have to change, the next best thing to having a sustainable system to use is actually getting into the habit of, okay, this is the way we're going to finance for the rest of our life. And if we choose that system and then operate from that system that has better terms and conditions than what it used to, it will naturally 100% contribute to attracting the next generation, mainly because there's less stress, right? If you have to think about how you're going to drive if you don't have a system, like we all get into our car. We get into our car in a very similar way in the summer, or a very similar way in the wintertime. We have like a natural routine. We have our habits about how we get into car. We have our habits around how we brush our teeth. If you had to think about if you need to use your left hand today versus your right hand to brush your teeth every single day, that's a very exhausting. If you have to, it's also very exhausting having to qualify at the bank all your life. Honestly. Yeah. So let's just start by taking out a lot of the stress by having to put ourselves in the position to deal with how many decisions we make about how we go about financing our life. Because when you do that, then our behavior, our kids watch our behavior. If we are relaxed around our money, then that obviously is going to contribute. How many times have we talked to somebody? It's like, I have no desire just to do what my parents are doing. They've always struggled.
Yeah.
Right? So if we can take the appearance of struggle out of the equation, I think that really helps.
Oh, yeah, it totally does. Because let's just face it, nobody likes to struggle. And part of what we do and part of what you do with your daughter is breaking the stigma around financial stress and being proactive and learning everything you can learn about what can I do to set myself up so that it is not a stressful thought or moment. It's not stressful to deal with it. And so that's where we're here on a larger scale. It's like, how can we make the finances of your farm or your ranch the least stressful as it can be by being proactive and putting a system in place that creates that independence, financial independence, and also do so many other things at the same time.
Well, and yes, and here's another opportunity where we feel we can support you in attracting the next generation, Lacey and I, is helping to get you and your operations or your family life in a place where you can become a family bank. Where you own all of the debt internally, where you guys get to control and how you pay yourself back. That is also very attractive because it's now everything that the family needs. And it doesn't even have to be business-like. It could be how about that annual vacation?
Hockey fees. I think about hockey fees, something to do with my daughter's horses.
Yeah, or a vet bill.
A vet bill, yeah.
A car.
I was actually just talking with someone yesterday here at the conference about building that system of policies and how there's 5 of us in our family. All 5 of us have a policy. We look at it as a family banking system, and whoever needs access to funds, how much do you need? What do you need it for? And how are you going to repay it?
Yep.
And so it's about building that relationship around money within the family.
So, yeah, just being really inclusive around the money situation. Once again, on so many levels, just another splendid way.
Splendid way, yes. So your journey starts, if you've listened to us for some time, you know where your journey starts, and that's with the book. So the newly published Farming Without the Bank, Canadian edition, it's tailored to you, to Canadians. You can find it on our website, rancherway.com. Send us questions, comments, feedback. If you have an idea about a podcast that you want to hear a topic, please shoot us an email. Let us know so we can address that for you. We appreciate you.
So glad you leaned in with us on the WinEH podcast. We truly hope you're feeling more informed and empowered to take another step towards optimizing your financial life. Right now, make sure you hit subscribe so you can keep growing and learning with us. Until next time, we wish you prosperity in every area of your life.